Be quiet. Hi, everybody. The Culture Show.
Hello.
Sorry for the delay. Like we're 12 minutes late. 12 minutes late?
Something like that.
What is your clock?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but maybe the levels? No.
I don't know.
Why do you always have this problem every weekend?
Oh, maybe it's my hat. All right. Speak. Okay. Everything sounds a little bit better now.
Yes. Well, hi. We were locked out of the studio. Utica College is on their spring break. I got to adjust as we ran in here, shut off the song.
Acting a fool. Trying to get a cup of coffee before getting here. That wasn't working out good. Woof. Woof. Skis.
You want to tell the story while I get myself ready?
So, apparently, in good old Utica, driving through the Mickey D's drive-thru is far more of a challenge than one would assume. So, we went to the one over on Genesee Street with the 2 lanes that merge into one, where you can order in 2 sections.
The drive-thru lanes.
The drive-thru, yeah. That was hard for people, but then I think our predecessors, would you want to do?
People that don't, please don't. The people in front. Just stick,
people in front
simple
of us.
language, please. Simple language.
The people in front of us were all but helpful and irate.
We're sitting in the one aisle with the other one, and the other one, cars are just moving, giving their order, moving, and the one in front of us has kids jumping. You could see
they were not kids; they were college kids, they were high schoolers. They were clearly.
I don't know. One of them had a peanut head. Then one of them was a little smaller than the noggin.
I think that
it looked
was
younger,
just
but jumping around, yelling, and then they move up
an
like
inch.
a foot and park. And so we honked the horn, and that was it.
Fingers were flying.
Birds were being flipped and and everything. But okay, so we go through, and then we pay.
Yeah.
And then when we...
So the natural... Okay, so everyone's been through a drive-thru. We understand. You order, you pay, you get your food. It's not really a hard concept. It doesn't work any other way except at this particular place where when you get to the final end where you expect to have your delivery...
The dude opened up and he looked like Dave Chappelle and he said... what can I get for you? And we were dumbfounded.
I just laughed at his face.
The simplicity of a drive-thru, you're not ready for questions second time around. I just want my thing. This is time where I get my stuff.
We skipped the fact that when we ordered our 2 coffees that it was a hard order for the person to get.
Everybody was having a bad day over there.
I think so.
Give them some slack.
I think so.
I was trying to tell Christina that they work in McDonald's, so it's like...
Well, that's not nice. There could be very well-educated humans working.
Nope. No. Okay. No. Semi-educated, not well-educated. No, it doesn't work that way.
Eyes read good.
And then we're on, and then Utica College is on break, and we show up, and there's no...
Coffee tastes like garbage, by the way.
I think they put garbage water in it.
I think so.
We couldn't find a security guard to come open the doors, so anyway, that's our saga on getting here. I know it sounds really horrible and hard, and I know
if anyone wants to send us condolence cards or gifts, flowers,
cards with checks in them, money.
Oh, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday just passed. They didn't even give me a stir.
Would you stop it? Okay, enough. We figured it out.
I'm just so pissed.
You didn't get your coffee from Nobu in the city, okay? You got it from backwoods McDonald's. You're lucky you got coffee in the first place. That's
true. Well, that's debatable.
And it was not just your birthday. Your birthday was like 3 weeks ago.
That's true.
Get over yourself. My son's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Mom.
My darling boy. My little bundle of love turns 8 years old. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. What do you?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't rush it.
Why did I think he was 9?
I don't know, because he acts like a teenager with his mouth.
Actually, I'm right, Dad. I'm right, Dad.
So yeah. You want to come over for a cupcake tomorrow?
Maybe.
We're having cupcakes.
Are you having a party for him?
We have a full house.
Are you doing something just during the day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe during lunch we'll go over.
Yeah.
Or you're working tomorrow?
I'm working. I don't know how long I'm going to be there. I got to talk to Kim. I completely.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at your hat and just what the hell's going on in your head. So, okay. Now, what's on the agenda for today?
Well, I do know that there is. I didn't put it up on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/culture show.
Wow, you actually did that.
But there is a sculpture space open studio next week, I think.
Oh, and yes, that's next. What are they? They do Tuesdays. Yeah, next Tuesday. Okay.
So like 5 to 7. I think they have a German artist, a New York-based artist, and maybe someone from another country.
The demographics of the artists are very important, and I'm glad you got some of them right.
And the two that I think I know aren't 100%.
Who cares where they come from? I don't want to see the stuff.
Well,
it's important where
they
come from.
Could be.
They all don't come from here, so that's already a leg up.
That's true.
So, and you're not going to be here next week.
No, I will not. I will be frolicking on sandy white beaches.
Yeah, and I hope it rains every day.
Well, that's not nice.
I hope every day it rains. Hope there's a typhoon. And I hope there's a lot of turbulence on your plane and you think you're going to die.
Oh, thanks. I hope
you're not going to die, but I hope you hit a bunch of turbulence and it's so rocky that you start crying. That's what I hope. While I'm sitting here in Utica.
Listen, bud.
I'm not jealous.
As I've known you,
you've
never
jealous.
Gone anywhere.
I would. Oh my God, a vacation is just lock me up in my room for a couple of days. Leave me alone.
I'm surprised you are able to get out to actually come do this radio show.
I was eager to do the show today.
I know, I saw that.
You made comment of it. I actually went out of my way to get the security guard.
I know.
Instead of
any other day we
were like, okay, nobody's here. Let's go. No, I actually made an effort.
Aw, I applaud that, sir.
Well, you should. And you should feel then even worse for leaving on your vacation next week.
My holiday.
While
I am going
on
with
your holiday.
European, so
yeah. You and your holiday.
My holidays is
your holiday.
Challah.
Challah. That's what they scream at a Jewish nightclub. Challah. Moishi. So, are we going to actually talk about anything?
Yeah,
or
we could talk about the articles.
Well, what articles?
Well, let's
hit me with some good stuff here. Come on.
We'll talk about the prison one because that was something we were talking on last week, but we weren't here because of the snow.
And then last week we were completely
prepared.
Yeah, we wanted to go. We wanted to go on. Oh, there is Wi-Fi here?
Do you have it?
I don't know if there is Wi-Fi.
I think there is.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm so privileged. Oh, I have to log in? No.
So we did post a few things that we wanted to talk about last week, but we didn't get to because of the snow and everything getting canceled.
The school was actually closed down. They closed the school. Yeah, wow. So anywho,
there was an article that we posted from the New York Times? Yeah. No?
Let me get to it on my thing. I don't know. I don't think it's the Times. I think it
says the New York Times this track. Okay. But it doesn't say it on the top.
Interesting.
Right?
Right.
Anyways, the article talks about this man who was sentenced to a 80 months sentence. Oh, jeez. He was sentenced to 80 months in prison for drugs. But that's not the point. Jesse Crimes. Ha ha ha.
Yes.
Ha, 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 ha.
Spelled with a K.
Spelled with a K.
Ironically enough, his last name is Crimes, yes.
He took New York Times articles.
Yeah.
This isn't from the New York. He took.
It's from a photo website. I forgot the name of it.
He took New York Times photos and created these kind of pictorial images, and he kind of had subjects, like he would hoard, like I read that he hoarded, like, women's rights and women, like he had, they talked about,
the thing that he did, he used bed sheets.
Yes, I was going to
We're dealing, okay, so he's a criminal, he's incarcerated for a sentence, and what was he put away for? I forget.
Cocaine.
It
said 70 months. He had 50 to 150 kilos.
He was caught with 140 grams.
Oh, okay.
Kilos? 150 kilos?
I don't know. What does this say?
Are you kidding me?
I can't read it because this like little box covers has the article.
140 grams.
Oh, okay. But then what does this say? What does this next sentence say?
The charges brought were those of... He was caught with... The charges brought were those of...
What does that mean, then?
He only had a little bit of cocaine. They charged him for a whole lot of cocaine.
Oh.
So he felt like he was being, prosecuted unjustly. Whatever. What's the dumb mistake? The judge recommended that Jesse be sent to... The judge and this was the...
I can't read any of this.
You can't read, period. I love you, but whatever.
Listen, holy crap.
I'm going to give you crap until you come in 1 week prepared. How about that?
I am prepared. I have articles. That? I've read the articles. I am prepared.
How about I give you a pass when you actually come in where you don't have to save your buttocks? Don't give me the face. Nobody can hear faces on the radio.
They can. They hear me blinking very loudly.
Blunk, blunk, blunk. The judge recommended that he be sent to a minimum security prison in Jersey, close to a support network of friends and family, but the Federal Bureau of Prisons opted to send him to a medium security facility all the way in North Carolina. As far away as permitted under the Bureau of Prisons regulations. So he was being
adios crimes
majorly. So his form of protest was to make this mural, and the mural consists of how many? Give me a number. You have it. Give me the number.
30. 13.
30 or 13?
13.
One of the two. 13 bed sheets that he made each bed sheet with a transfer process.
Using hair gel.
And the New York Times Magazine. The glossy pictures from the New York Times Magazine. And he created... he would make each bed sheet one at a time. He had access to bed sheets somehow.
I think he used his own.
But you can't, I mean, you can go through 13 bed sheets?
Well, they talked about that. They talked about how...
He got a hookup. He had a couple of friendly, what are they called? Friendlies,
salad partners?
The cops in there. The
COs?
COs, yeah,
No.
correction officers.
Salad
Correction, sorry. Early onset dementia. That were supplying him with things. And
do you think it was the COs, or do you think it was... No, in the article it talked about roles that prisoners could have to kind of, like, whether you were in laundry or working in the cafeteria, or how you
had
could
a hookup,
but
he also had friendly, because you need a friendly CO in order to mail these things out.
Right.
He was mailing a bed sheet out, and when he was finished, he would mail it out.
What he was saying in the article was how you survive is you either come in with money and you can buy your way to survive, or you can do kind of outreach like he did with art. He was teaching art. He was helping inmates, and that then turned into...
He was selling portraits. He was doing portraits of other inmates or other inmates, to give them photographs to do portraits of, and he was making money doing that.
Right.
So,
I think that created a different perception of him by him being artistic within this community.
Well, artists are treated very well in there, from the tattooing to the portraits and stuff. If Michael was in jail, he would just be like Julian from Oh, I'd be
from
the
Trailer Park Boys. You would somehow find a black T-shirt and a rum and coke and just walk around.
I'd rule. But it's when memory is your only is your only connection to people. A drawing, something tangible, something physical, is very important. So artists are, and of course all of the tattooing and stuff. You don't want some schlock drawing something.
Yeah, my teardrop tattoo is totally about.
It's not about art, but you need a creative person to do it. You need somebody with a steady hand at least. So anyway,
debatable.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's.
So, anyways, the work itself is actually pretty.
It's quite amazing, and he never. So
they're very dreamlike.
He turned around and spent all of his money on hair gel.
Look how big that one is.
That's not one. That's all 13.
Oh.
He didn't see. He would make a bed sheet.
Right.
He would make a bed sheet and mail it out, and it wasn't until he was released
that he saw the whole thing.
Actually saw it all together.
Right.
And it works as one piece. There's kind of a horizon line going around them.
Yep.
There's a sky area. There's a mid-ground area, and there's a foreground area. Because it's all pop culture imagery from the New York Times Magazine, all of these glossy celebrities or fashion pictures, it reads as this big allegory to consumerism and the country in general. So it's really interesting. It's an impressive outpouring of work with such limited supplies.
Right.
I mean, just to think that hair gel would work to do transfers, it almost spits in the face of everyone who's talking about these archival things. I worked in Pro Paint for years, and I'm very familiar with a lot of different artist mediums and stuff that's used by painters to make things last forever, and
right.
The term archival means colors aren't going to fade over time, and things are going to be permanent, and people put such emphasis on it. I would deal with people who were fanatics about having something last and not the work looked like garbage. But it was, it's like they would put all of their emphasis in having it last forever. When with hair gel and a newspaper magazine,
right?
This dude created something that's pretty impressive.
Would you classify him as an artist?
Sure, why not?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Do you think that because,
as a matter of fact, a quite impressive. One, being able to do what he did within the circumstances, and that goes from making money from it inside to having the bigger vision of only being able to do a piece a bed sheet at a time, to on many levels, absolutely.
Should we ask him to have a show up at Idioglossy
Sure.
Gallery?
It's being shown at a college, right? Somewhere? That's right there, I think.
The Ovelet Church Artist Studios in Philly.
Okay. But anyway, if you click on the link off of our Facebook site, www.facebook.com/thecultureshow, the title of the article is Prisoners 39 Panel.
Oh.
39 panel?
What
are you saying 13?
I don't know.
39 panel right there. 39 bed sheets together. And I guess they're twin-sized bed sheets.
Snort.
The horizon line is the 13 panels.
Oh.
13 panels are just going across, so it's 13 across for the horizon line.
All right.
Oh,
Jeez Louise.
Right.
It's not split hairs.
Anyway, so 39 panels. If you look through and you look at the details.
I actually think the way he layered them is actually really nice because it.
Well,
it
has to be a part of the process of the hair gel itself. It's not going. First of all, it's not going to give a completely opaque image. There's going to be transparencies And I think he used that in layering a lot of these transparencies because it was a limitation of the medium.
Right.
Jesse Crimes. The guy's okay. A little cocaine problem, but we're not going to hold that against nobody. Nope.
I didn't know how to say that.
Try
to say it in a German
Apocalyptine. Oh, well, like apocalypse. Apocalyptine. 163-89067. That's the title of the piece. The number referring to his prison number, and apocalyptine is taken from the root. Where does it say? Where apocalypse comes from, but it's also about personal story. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was about means to uncover or reveal. That's what it means.
Yeah, well, that's his personal story, to uncover and reveal. And the uncover and reveal also is the function of a bed sheet, to cover, and then when you remove the bed sheet, you uncover.
I think you're reading into that one a little too much.
That's what he says it in the thing.
Listen.
He's using that.
That's an artist stretch.
Hey, that's what artists do, is stretch. That's what we do. Bunch of fakakta nonsense, but we...
All I got is this bed sheet, and it means conceal and reveal.
I'd like to see what you would make in prison. Your macaroni art. That's what you're going to be doing.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't eat my macaroni.
You would go batty.
Oh my god, I'd be a hot mess.
Yeah.
I'd end up shanking myself somehow. Oops! Ow!
I'm a very jaded individual, and I was quite taken by this.
No, I think it's very impressive. I would like to see it fostered, and for him, it's almost like site-specific work in a weird way. That this is something that can't really be created or recreated.
So maybe he'll just get himself arrested again for his next work.
But think about it, with these limitations and these challenges, he created something very specific and very profound.
Yeah.
He can't make that kind of work again.
Maybe he can. Well, maybe.
If he's at his home, it's not going to be the same.
Maybe he can. Why you?
I'm saying I think it's very site specific.
You're racist.
Jesse Crimes.
I'm gonna pull the race card on you.
How do you know he's?
He's right there. He's a picture of him, isn't he? No, he may not be.
Yeah. See.
Or at least just bigoted. Because you think he's the only reason he could do it if he's inside.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't do
Jesse, I'm on your side. Don't listen to her. You can do whatever you want wherever you are. Jesse, I believe in you,
Jesse.
What
I'm saying is that the work
Jesse,
itself...
if you can hear my voice, just know that I am on your side regardless of what she says or thinks. It's not just a reaction of you being in jail. It's a reaction of you as a human being. Damn it, and that means something to me, not to her. Come on.
I think that the work itself, regardless of who made it...
The piece itself is very specific, of course.
It's very specific and very...
But there are tons of artists who deal with very specific...
Right, I would be curious to see what his next step is. If he's... I asked you, do you think he's an artist? If he's going to be continuing to make work as an artist, I'm just posing...
Is that a big... If this is all he made, yeah,
this to me is a coping skill, and not really.
Oh, you're jaded. You're jaded. That's quite a coping skill. That's quite an endeavor.
It's contained within a situation.
So you think because it wasn't predetermined, like he?
No.
Okay, so he went in. Okay. Oh, so I'll ask you this: if it were predetermined with a artist statement beforehand,
no,
would you think it would be more of a work of art than it is now?
No. What I'm saying, I'm talking about the situation at hand. To me, like anything, whether you're an athlete, an artist, a chef, whatever. You just don't make something once. You just don't play a game once. You don't make a dinner once and say, I'm a chef. What I'm saying is that this is very specific to a very specific situation. Let me talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I can maybe get a point out without you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that the work has nothing to do with the work. It has to do with the next step. If he's deeming himself as an artist, this can only go so far. He made a piece. It's a fantastic piece.
Why are you down on him?
I'm not down on him. I'm down on the situation.
I don't know
asking,
why, but why?
Because I'm curious. It poses a lot of questions.
It does? Okay.
He made a very specific work.
Uh-huh.
What's the next step? As an artist, he would want to continue it. But this is a very site-specific work. Does he make something...
It's not necessarily a site-specific work. It was the
situation-specific?
The situation-specific, exactly.
Okay. So, as an artist, if you did 5 drawings 10 years ago and you didn't make anything sense are you still an artist? That's what I'm at. I'm not saying.
You don't think the sheer the quantities of levels that he had to work on to get this done from beginning to end shows that he has stamina, that he could
Of course he does.
Okay.
Of course he does. I think what he did...
Because you're making it sound like this is just a one-thing wonder and he's not... And
no, I'm curious and I'm interested to see what he does next. Oh. I'm just saying that this is such a specific situational piece that I'm curious to see what he does next. He went into jail, he was not... So from what the article says is that he wasn't an artist, he wasn't really practicing, he went in, he kind of stumbled upon...
Was he? Really?
I don't think they talked about him pre this. I think they kind of mentioned, from what I understood, that this was like a coming to terms, like him doing this gave him a purpose within this system. So what I'm taking is that he found something, he developed something. What does he do next?
I'm skimming the article. Well, you keep rambling.
There's nothing else to ramble about. I'm just saying, I'm not doubting him. I'm just curious because if you took the whole prison situation out of it, is it as interesting?
Absolutely. Well, no. Well, it is.
So if I
actually, it's a gorgeous piece.
It is a gorgeous piece, but I've seen a lot of things that have been done on sheets that have probably not have gotten as much of an interest, and I think that
hasn't got that much interest. We got one goofy article in some photo magazine. We're the only idiots talking about this thing right now.
Well, you think he's,
I think it was a feat.
Prison's gift to us.
I think.
Do you think you're being so defensive because he's a man in prison? Like, what is your passion about him? Why are you drawn to him so much? I personally think it's a great piece, but I also think it's a fart in the wind.
Really?
I don't think he's going to move on with it. I don't
care about moving on. I'm talking about what this is an accomplishment, I think. I think at some level this is an accomplishment. And if he dies and this is the only thing that's remembered of him, he's not in worse shape than artists that are in history books that we talk about, a major thing. I wouldn't be so quick to poo-poo this.
I'm not poo-pooing
if he doesn't do anything in the future on this level, but I think I don't know. I think his ingenuity is admirable. It's very admirable. That's it. That's all. Yeah.
So this is WPNR 90.7.
Man, I hate for you to be my art critic.
Well.
Man.
All right, so
fart in the wind. That's rough.
That's from
man.
Shawshank Redemption, I think.
That's rough.
I'm not. I shouldn't be so callous. I'm just saying
that's my point.
That I think is an interesting piece, and I think that it commands itself within the situation. But I think that if you removed,
it's very powerful because of the situation.
But then if you remove the situation, then it's just to me. Then it's just like
you can't remove the situation because that's part of it, and that's part of why I think he is an extremely creative individual, because under those circumstances and under everything that he had to go through to make
he wasn't in
it's impressive. Don't listen. I'm telling you, you wouldn't last a half an hour. You wouldn't in minimum security. You wouldn't last a half an hour. Are you serious?
Yes, but I also don't do things to put me in situations.
I think you're a little jaded.
I'm not doubting
more than me, which is confusing to me right now. Usually I'm the curmudgeon.
I'm not.
I'm on this dude's side.
I'm not on his side. I just
in a way you are. In a way you're saying that if he wasn't in prison, that this would just be another goofy thing on bed sheets.
You're saying the same thing, though. You're saying that the ingenuity within the situation is really special. I'm saying you can't separate it. You can't separate it. You can't say if that, then this. You can't. Okay, I understand that, and I agree with that. That I think that within the situation, yes, it is impressive work, but at the same time, there's a lot of other. The garbage is over there, Michael. Just leave it on the table, or throw it against the couch.
Whatever. I made the garbage.
But I don't know. I don't think he's like the next Basquiat or anything.
If you're tallying points at home, that's Jesse Crimes has 1 point from Michael and 0 points from Christina.
Do you want to talk about
next article, please?
Which one do you want to talk about?
I don't know that hashtag one. I already got the hashtag. Okay. Can we talk about society going to hell in a handbasket?
Yeah. Well, there's
going to hell
rhetoric one.
Going to hell and hunt for it. Oh, that's just, I think, funny. I think this is a cute article for people to actually read on our Facebook page.
Read the cute article from Michael Giordani.
Man, I should have did a count. It's about as long as a blog post, but it's only written in one-syllable words. And it's a point by... how do they not have the...
I didn't print out the whole thing. It had like a sentence on it.
Whatever. 1 second, please. Oh, I didn't save that article, of course.
It's from The Economist.
Great.
That's good enough. It's from The Economist.
Well, anyway... If you read the article, it's a credit. Anyway, comments on how wordy you don't have to be.
Right. You know what I thought about this when I read this article, and when I skimmed this article because I was doing this like 20 minutes before the show. Why my dog just whined and whined and whined at me.
My goodness.
But what I thought was interesting about it is that it really talked about how you don't have to be wordy and how you can pack a lot of punch with simple words and how simple words can mean more than whatever they are. And I just go back to when I was in college or high school, and you have to write a 10-page paper, and you just put nonsense on top of nonsense because you're always told to make things wordy and longer. And it's like, why don't you teach content and meaning instead of just fluff and fluff?
Well, that's left for creative writing.
But in college, I remember pulling teeth with like trying to write an article, a paper that was like 5-6 pages long.
In creative,
in classes. I'm just saying, like, I would rather have a teacher say, and the teacher should know if the person is BSing it or if the person is being genuine. But I would gladly accept like an artist statement. An artist statement must be 6 sentences. Well, why does my artist statement have to be 6 sentences? If I could get it in a sentence, or if I could get it in a word, why can't they be good enough? And that's the standards that are created. And I that's what I thought about when I read this.
Well, that's my own kind of mini online project. Is my artist statement a day?
Why aren't you posting those on the
culture? Okay, I will. Maybe I will. Okay.
Thanks.
You could.
Michael does these really great. I could what? I don't do that.
You could post them.
Oh, you want me to copy and paste them?
Well, that's what I'm going to have to do, but I'm just saying if...
Anyways, Michael does these really great, like, 1-2 sentence artist statements of the day that talk about his work, and I think it actually is probably a really good self-editing...
It's an exercise.
Yeah.
It's half of it is an exercise just to try to get as succinct and to the point and without all the fluff and without all of the rhetoric.
And this is on a blog, or is this just something you do on?
I have it on I do it on my
Tumblr,
but I tweet it and I put it on my Facebook. It's a social media thing as well. Yeah. It's sound bites. It's a sound bite of an artist statement, trying to get down to the its basic elements, and also shedding a light on a lot of the BS, a lot of the jargon, that is. Again, my big soapbox that I keep getting on is how it's exclusionary, on how the language that's used in the art world, the gallery world, the museum world is exclusionary to the general public, in order to promote its own intellectual superiority. If I could say that even more succinctly, I would, but I think that's as juicy as I can get that. So that's part of my side project. I do an artist statement a day. One sentence. They're often repetitive, and some of them are kind of goofy. And I don't use as much foul language as I should. I need to curse more in them, I think, because nothing gets more to the
good
point
F-bomb
than a good papoon.
See you next Tuesday.
But that's what I mean. That as far as the article is concerned, that's what I had a couple of good creative writing professors.
Who
would Caroline.
Who's Caroline? Oh,
yeah,
the one from Munson.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, her and oh my goodness, I'm not gonna Cheryl.
Oh,
I'm not gonna remember her name. I loved her.
Munson?
She was great. Yeah, from Munson actually. Cheryl, she had 3 names. I'm not gonna do her justice. Please,
Carol?
Forgive me. No, her name is Cheryl something. She moved here from Seattle. She was teaching in Seattle. She moved here. She called the OD, the Observer Dispatch. She called it the OD, the odiferous disgrace. Odiferous disgrace, because she thought it was horribly written.
Yeah,
disturbingly, embarrassingly written. Our local newspaper. But both of them really were really.
I don't remember Caroline.
Yeah,
that much.
Okay. But they were really good in really just getting out. Get out the fluff.
Yeah,
blurt. That's what Cheryl would call it, blurt. When you sit down and write, you just write all of this garbage and junk and all of these big things as you blurt it out, and then you take a hatchet to it, and then you really get down to what's important.
But that's I feel like in a weird way, if you look at school systems and stuff, that they don't teach you to really ever get down to the core of it. They want you to stay on this.
We're in a very illiterate culture.
It's really scary to me.
And not just the levels of literacy, literal literacy, as far as being able to read,
right.
But the quality and the content and our ability to describe or explain things is, compared to other cultures, is horrendous.
Yeah.
British culture is a very verbal culture. They use their language in a way. My best friend, my other best friend, my longest best friend, Alex. He has family from Trinidadian, and the language to them is a gift. That and they wield it with such passion, and it means something.
Right.
We are very illiterate in this country.
Yeah, I agree. And it's what's weird is that growing up and everything, and you've read my rating. I know that I'm not as well written as I could be, and I know that I probably even can't.
I'm Christina's personal editor when she
I think Ellen
took over. Well, that's good. Well, that's good because I was getting tired of it.
But the thing is that I recognize that's something that wasn't really embedded in me. But I know that I surmount other people, and that just blows my mind that there's people out there who function.
Yeah.
And can never really stop and really get to the core of anything, and that really scares me. And I think that as a culture that doesn't even concern you to ever get to the core of anything, whether it's a book, an article, a word, a phrase, how you communicate is mind blowing. And when I read this, is kind of is how you described it is cute. I think it really triggered a lot of like regret for education and regret for human, like this triggered a lot for me, actually.
That's interesting.
Because I felt disgusted in a weird way that you know people spend so much time posting live, laugh, love, blah, and that's what they wrap their heads around, or that's what they put a stupid sign in their house, and it's like
that's hard. That's hard.
But that's like,
my sister has a lot. My sister's a good person. She has a lot of.
But like, it's just that. But that's how people
signs up, and it's a that's a superficial.
It's crazy.
Listen, it isn't by again to be to be a conspiracist and to fall in line with all of the kooks out there. It isn't by chance that the corporations are taking control, because we're not well read. We don't know. We don't know. We show up. If it's on the shelf, we'll buy it. Yeah. And then we'll just go home and we'll eat it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it's one of those things where I feel like if you want to be one of those kind of minion, you live
minions from Despicable Me. That's Mashi's favorite little.
They're cute, but
they like bananas.
They actually look like in German they have these Kinder eggs, and
they're illegal here, right?
The Kinder egg?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're choking hazards. Because
get out of here.
Because of the toy inside.
I think I bought them in New York once.
Illegally.
Oh.
Mental patients we are. We it's a Kinder egg is like a Cadbury egg.
Yeah.
Where it's got a chocolate outside.
And then there's
shell,
there's
a little plastic. It's like a gum when you get a toy in a gumball machine.
Right,
it's a little plastic container that has a little toy in there.
Yeah, and you put it together. It's awesome.
Put it together, and they're illegal to sell in this country because it's choking. Because some kid is going to eat that and think that it's just a harder piece of non-flavored caramel and choke to death.
Oh my God, that makes me so mad right now because I love those things. Anyways, the Minions look like the little yellow container that the little prizes come in. But since no one knows what a Kinder Egg is, it does not matter. My thing is, my debate or my argument always is that if you want to be one of those people that kind of just falls in line with whatever, but my counter argument is always like, if you want to be that, don't take away from me the right to be not that. Don't push me into that line. Like, people who... I didn't explain that right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Right now, everyone is trying to... whether it's corporations, government, whatever, they're trying to push us all into a line to walk the same exact path, to not question much.
Give example, please.
Organic versus non-organic. GMO versus non-GMO is a great example. Food.
All right.
You have every right to eat a Dorito. You have every right to buy McDonald's. But don't take away my right to buy organic, to buy local. Don't take away
Who's trying to take away your right to buy organic?
Right now, right now GMOs are trying to be very much a part of everything. I've been reading articles about organic labeling and organic standards changing and going more towards a GMO as opposed to going more into the organic knowledge that we have, when there's countries who are completely rejecting Monsanto and everything. Right now, my thing is like, I don't care what you eat, but don't take away my right to want me to eat.
Okay, number one, in a capitalist economy, there are no rights. In a capitalist economy, in a capitalist economy,
you give the consumer what they want.
The money is going towards the changing of the regulations because that's who owns it. The owners are doing all of this because nobody is giving that much of a fuss.
That's not capitalism. That's communism. That's the government controlling it.
Well,
if we were,
therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem.
Right now, we have the government and big businesses intertwining, cross-pollinating, and not keeping business with business and government with government, and they're profiting off of that.
Exactly.
And that scares me.
Exactly.
And that's a huge problem.
But it's not. It doesn't turn into a right when the masses, the majority, are going to pay for a product that's going to kill them. It has nothing to do with right. It just has to do with numbers.
Yeah.
So if you're a minority in those numbers and nobody's going to choose to listen to you because it's not cost effective to listen to you, you can't sit around and scream about rights because it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And that's the garbage state of affairs that we're in right now.
Yeah. And this kind of bleeds into...
And, well, luckily, thankfully for all involved, it's not going to last very long because we're just going to be washed into the ocean
bum, bum, bum.
at the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I'm still fine.
Can you do like...
Oh no, fish flay. I don't know what the hell he says. We gonna die. We're gonna die.
It talks more about just the decline of a civilization.
I think it was a switch and bait because the title of it, the title of the thing. Here we go. Let me bring it up. Excuse me. The title of the article was NASA study concludes when civilization will end. And it's not looking good for us. So I'm reading the article. I'm looking for a date. I mean, I got
the Mayan calendar.
I got coupons. I gotta use. I need to know when we going. But they didn't even come close to saying no time frame.
Yeah.
Garbage. I wanted to know when we're checking out of this
place. Where did
place.
you get this article?
It comes up on one of my news feeds, and this is from Tom McKay Live News.
I thought it said in a few decades.
In a few decades, it's going to turn bad, but it's not the end of civilization as we know it. When civilization will end. Anyway, it's a study.
I think probably what's gonna happen is that so many people are so reliant on like flu shots and crappy food that there's gonna be an epidemic and it's just gonna wipe us all out.
Well, now you're just hoping and dreaming.
Yeah, that's. Could be.
You're hoping for a.
Dear God, please give us an epidemic so that we all.
Between an antibiotic resistant or immunization resistant strain of something or other, peacock flu, next one, whatever hedgehog flu, whatever other stupid animal they want to give a flu to, goldfish flu. Oh my God. What I find interesting, and there's another article I didn't post, or did I? No, I didn't. No. I personally about fluoride.
Yeah.
Randomly. It's no longer fringe institutes or outer liars of the intellectual community doing research on these goofy things and finding problems with them that nobody listens to them.
Yeah.
There's actually it's turning into major institutions doing studies recognized by all, doing studies and finding things that are really bad.
Yeah.
One was about fluoride.
Do you realize that
fluoride by this? And I'm going to be talking off out of my rear right now because I don't have it in front of me. But in essence, it's categorized by this really renowned organization as a neurotoxin.
Yeah.
A neurotoxin in line with mercury.
Yeah,
and
I think
some
I
of the
read the
other
same
heavy metals.
article. I wonder if I did. I read too recently that Hitler put fluoride in the concentration camps as a sedative.
Sedative. Oh,
sedative.
To sedate them.
To sedate them.
Okay. Now the science is maybe goofy. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Whether or not.
Well, I mean, but I don't know if that was true. But his intent was is that something like this can sedate these people. So if we're drinking something that somebody within a generation, it's kind of scary.
So anyway, so this the report written. Here we go. The study is sponsored by NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. NASA.
Why is NASA space flight doing an end of the world?
Because it has to do more with I don't know. Really? Wait. Environmental stuff. It isn't just the report written by applied mathematician Safa Moteshari. Motesh. How you say that name?
I don't know.
Of the National Socio-Environmental Synthesis Center. I don't know what the hell that means. So
when we were in Washington, D.C., remember, were we driving around when it was like the Department of like, weren't we together? No. Okay. There was like some weird, it was like the Department of like landscape. It was something like wicked. I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing. I might have been with somebody else.
It's not ringing a bell.
National Department of
Socio-Environmental Synthesis Center. So social and environmental, and I guess the impact of society on the environment.
Yeah, well, duh, that's what we talked about. I didn't realize that.
And that it claims that modern civilization is doomed if we're going
at the rate that we're going.
Analyzing 5 risk factors for societal collapse: population, climate, water, agriculture, and energy. Water, that's on nobody's talking point right now, is water, and how scarce it's going to become of good quality, of drinking quality, is crazy.
Not if we keep BPing everything.
The report says that the sudden downfall of complicated social structures can follow when these factors converge to form two important criteria. The report says that all societal collapses over the past 5,000 years, and this is also very interesting because they're saying the collapse of society, of this civilization, like the Roman Empire collapsed,
right,
like the Mayan Empire collapsed.
Well, it's inevitable that our empire will collapse. It's inevitable. That's how history works. That you have a rise and you have a fall.
Well,
it's very egotistical to think that we're going to continue at this momentum.
Exactly.
Continue. I'm sorry.
No. That report says that all social over the 5,000 years have involved both So the report says that all societal collapses over the past 5,000 years have involved both, quote, the stretching of resources due to the strain placed on the ecological carrying capacity, and, quote, the economic stratification of society into elites, rich, and masses, or commoners, which are the poor. So right now we have the two. We have the two things. We have the rich become richer, the poor become poorer, the middle disappearing. So it's a vast divide as far as who have nothing and who have everything, coupled with our natural resources being depleted thusly, because the rich aren't giving a hoo-ha because they don't need to, because they could buy whatever the hell they need, while we are, globally, it's starting to look like Brazil. Globally, it's starting to look like, Brazil's okay until you make a turn left, and then people are living in aluminum houses.
Yeah. Woof.
The report suggests elite power, will buffer, quote, detrimental effects of the environmental collapse until much later than the commoners, because they have the resources, the financial resources,
right,
to.
Isn't it amazing how an arbitrary thing like money, something man-made that doesn't really mean anything, dictates all of this?
Oh, no,
it's just so bizarre to me.
It's incredible
that there's no bartering and trading anymore. That there's no like goods and services.
Well, have a major medical catastrophe happen to you, and then start dealing with hospitals and trying to get money from your provider.
Yeah.
And and then sit back and have a lucid thought of, we made all this. Why would you put somebody through this?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the point? This is garbage.
It's so scary. And then it's just, I feel like I'm going off a tangent, but then I hate the fact that people have made this concept of going off the grid like a fad. And in reality, it's something that should be treated very kind of respectfully and true, that you recognize how flawed society is, and that you choose, and that everyone just keeps saying, I'm going off the grid. It's like, you going off the grid and still tweeting that you're going off the grid doesn't make sense.
It's not going off the grid.
So, I don't know. This article made me a little sad.
Really?
When I read it. There's a couple things that I think are I don't really particularly care so much about society coming or civilization collapsing. I think that's inevitable.
It's another talking point. Well, this is what happened to Rome and the Mayans.
Yep.
According to the report and the big talking point, historical collapses were allowed to occur by elites who appeared to be oblivious to the catastrophic trajectory, most clearly apparent in the Roman and Mayan cases. So the rich were they were insulated from the goings on of reality that everything fell down around them, and it took them by surprise.
Right.
That's
totally happening right now.
That's totally happening, exactly.
But with
economic growth, I love these talking points. Economic growth is the biggest destroyer of the ecology. Those people who think we can have a growing economy and a healthy environment are wrong. If we don't reduce our numbers, nature will do it for. You see, I personally, because of my state of mind. Me personally, as opposed to me impersonally. Okay, it's a little redundant. Let me get my point out.
I thought we had a conversation like 3 WPNR 90.7s ago.
You're right.
You either are for or against something.
We're over 8 o'clock.
Who cares? No one else is coming in. Doug, we're going to keep going.
I have a problem I have a problem thinking every time I read one of these like stories or see like another ecological happening,
like a tsunami,
like a big thing, I can't help but thinking that
it's nature's detoxing.
That it's a viral ad campaign for the next Godzilla movie. That's coming.
I thought you were being sincere.
Everything is like, maybe this is. Oh my God, this is so cool that they actually put out a report to make me want to go see this Godzilla movie. The force of nature.
I think on that note, we're done.
Everything, if we don't reduce our numbers, nature will do it for us. Everything is worse, and we're still doing the same things. Well, isn't that? Because ecosystems are so resilient, they don't exact immediate punishment on the stupid.
Woof. Well said.
Jeez Louise.
Sophia.
I wish I could do your name justice. Safa Mota Sosofaya.
No. Mota Sarari?
Motesharai.
Maybe.
Motesharai. Safa Motesharai. I don't know where she's from. He or she? It?
I think
it's a transgender person who wrote this article. Anywho. Yeah. Great.
This was WPNR 90.7, the home of the pioneers. Please like our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/thecultureshow.
That was very good, Christina.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, peeps. Have a good... Oh, yeah, so we're not here next week.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to be away.
Her and her vacation.
Michael, bring you back
to everybody else here is going to be in wet, muddy Utica. She's going to be in where are you going? St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, listen, when I told you about the Dali Museum earlier, you weren't making that sound.
That's because I'm even more jealous now. My jealousy grew.
Oh, I'll bring you back a mustache.
I already have one, thanks.
I'll bring you back another one. All right.
Okay. Bye, people.
Bye.